Please welcome to the show, Kristen Scott Thomas.
Wow. I'm not sure orange and red.
I think it works.
Is it? Okay.
Here's what I've learned. It's like wearing a denim shirt with denim pants. Whatever you do works if you rock it. That's all that matters. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Are you largely comfortable or uncomfortable watching yourself back in a film?
Usually pretty uncomfortable. Yeah.
Why do you think?
It's not an agreeable sensation.
Well, in this particular film, though, I mean, I wonder, is that part?
In this particular film, well, I'm just so completely amazed by Fabrice Lucchini, the man who I play his wife in the film, and he's a very brilliant comedian. You know, he's got this amazing rhythm, and he's very, very popular in France, and I just feel like such a beginner next to him that, yeah.
The idea of peering into somebody else's life, you know, which is, I suppose, what an actor in a sense does, isn't it? You take somebody else's life and you embody it for a while.
I think one of the ways I get around that feeling of being invaded or revealing too much is by physical transformation with sort of haircuts and things like that. I mean, in this film, I have very, very, very short hair. So I look a bit like a man in this film. It's very interesting.
And that's your way of keeping it away from you?
Yeah, disguise. I've always loved disguise. Even when I was a little girl, I used to dress up and be convinced that people wouldn't recognize me in the village of 300 people where I lived.
How'd that work out?
Not so great.
Your childhood had pretty severe tragedy,
Yeah.
which a lot of people feel like, and then the way it was dealt with you.
Yeah, but, you know, it was a long time ago, and I think people have a different... for people who don't know, my father was killed when I was a very little girl. When I was 6, he was a pilot in the Royal Navy, and my mother remarried another pilot in the Royal Navy who was also killed when I was 11. So that was a bit of a sort of double whammy of tragedy. But in the old days, I mean, this was a very long time ago, I won't say exactly when.
It was 1991. 91? She was listening to Pearl Jam. It was a big part of her...
Anyway, you know, just people didn't really deal with things like that. You know, it was just sort of, we just don't talk about it. That was that. It just never got mentioned.
But you were on a train 3 days later, roughly?
Yeah, when my stepfather, it was back to school time, so I got driven to the station and put on a train and went back to school.
Do you think that left a mark on you? Like,
indelible, yeah, absolutely.
So I want to play a clip. For some of us, this is our first introduction to you, is this clip right here.
I think I know what it is.
Nice toss.
I think you're rather cruel.
And that's fine.
Yes. Pity you weren't invited.
Never.
Well, I was in the neighborhood and
And you got lost.
I thought this would be fun.
But here's why. She says this in the chair during the clip, I think you're cruel. Here's why that's not cruel. You have worked with some of the great leading men of all time.
This is true.
You have. You know, everybody from Ray Fiennes to Tom Cruise. You've worked with...
Do you know what I do sometimes?
What?
I write the list.
Do you really? But do you write it as a diary entry or as a vision board?
No,
like,
I just like the list.
you just like the list of this one?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I wanted to ask you. Does Prince make it on that list?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Prince is, for all the conversations people have, but Prince is one of the most important pop artists of all time.
Listen, I cannot even... I mean, just... it was extraordinary when I got the call to come and do this audition for that. I mean, I'd been listening to Around the World... Raspberry Beret. I'd been listening to that non-stop, and suddenly I got this telephone call. Will you go for an audition, you know, for this tiny part in this movie? So I go up for the tiny part in the movie, and there's a lot of muttering around the video camera as they film me. And then they say, would you like to audition for the lead? All right. You know. And I did, and you know, I got the part. I mean, why? I have no idea, but I did. And it was the most extraordinary experience. It was wonderful.
So working with all of them, so Cruise, Harrison Ford, Robert Redford, Sean Penn, Ray Fiennes, who would be the ultimate Prince Charming?
The ultimate Prince Charming? Oh, listen, they're all waiting with bated breath. I think Harrison Ford. Yeah.
What makes someone Prince Charming?
Well, he's got a helicopter and he swoops down and saves people on mountains, isn't he?
I suppose that would be a great way to do that. Dans la maison, in the house. Kristen Scott Thomas, everybody.